A very good morning to all of you. Welcome to another lecture of Business Communication, Unit 3, Technology and Communication, wherein you will be able to understand the aspect of emailing and its effective practices. Now, like I have told you in my previous lectures, also the aspect of internet, I have told you the access of information electronically. I have also told you that what are the methods and things which you are going to have a particular view of information at large to have it and assess by actually serving that particular thing using your electronic media and all. So in today's lecture of mine, I'll be telling you another version of mailing, that is sending your letters and sending your information or of any type of any norms and all in such a manner that you will be able to actually understand the basic concept of email at large and what are the effective practices that is going to make email an important component. To begin with, what is an email? Email is an electronic mail method of exchanging the message between the people using electronic devices. Email entered with the limited use in the year 1960. So, like I have told you in my previous lectures also, that the advent of your electronic media, or you can say the advent of your internet, do not start in the aspect of your 1960 and all. It later on came into an existence with an evolution of your supercomputers, or not particularly the supercomputers, but also but those kind of your personal computers and all in the year 19 in the mid 1970s and then in the early 1980s. So Ray Tomlinson was a creator of your particular aspect of email. Email was being developed by Ray Tomlinson, and he developed the first system to send an email by a different host across the ARPANET. ARPANET was a kind of a terminology which was being used by that particular person, that is Ray Tomlinson, to actually develop a file system in such a manner that easily access of information could be transferred from one computer to another computer. Email operate across computer network, primarily internet today. Today, email is based on store and forward model. Email server accept, forward, deliver, store messages. Neither the user nor the computer are required online to be simultaneously. They need to connect typically to uh, mail server webmail interface and send and receive messages, or can download it. See, for in today's world, no one is there on online. In my opinion, no one, and many of us are not having that particular kind of opinion of mine. I personally believe that most of us are not online all the times. So email is a kind of a component, or is a kind of a thing wherein it is going to give you the privilege that okay, whenever you are going to come online, you can actually see your mails by actually checking that which mail came of which content of in which context, so that the information can be retrieved back and a reply could be made. Originally, ASAC2 text-only communication medium, Internet email, was extended by multi-purpose Internet mail extension. Earlier, in your ISAC2, only the text communication was being made, only the messaging aspect of your messages being made in your email. But later on, with an advent of your internet and all, the multi-purpose use of email came into existence. You can actually attach a file to it and then send something to this. So the history of modern internet email serves reach back in early ARPANET with the standard of encoding messages published in the early 1973. Email message sent in early 1970 is similar to the basic email sent today. So in this particular paragraph, what I actually mean to say is that in the earlier 1970, what happened that the first aspect of email, like we see today, we actually store the thing, we forward the thing, and then we attach something. The same kind of an email was being sent for the very first time in the year 1970. To add to the terminology of email, historically, the term electronic mail is any electronic transmission. So basically, talking about email, if we just say what is an email, email is something that can be transmitted electronically, any information. For several of the writers who were using the concept in the year 1970, they termed it as a fax transmission. So, for many of the writers and many of the researchers in the early 1970s, they thought that it is something which is very similar to those fax machine and all. As a result, finding first use it difficult to specify meaning that it has today. So they were not able to actually think that what meaning can we give to this particular thing concept of email and all. The term electronic mail has been used with its current meaning since 1975. So since 1975, the aspect of email that we use till now was being used in that particular reference. Email have been used since in 1970, since at least 1979. So shorter versions of your email, that is e-mail and all, was being used from 1971, 1979. And the current meaning, that means the meaning which at which it has today, that is sending and forwarding the messages and all, that concept was being developed in the later aspect of your 1975s. It is a form of required IETF request to comment RFC and working groups. Email is now in common form and recommended by style guides. So it is now being commonly being used by many of them. The form required by IETF requests for comments on RFCs on working groups. So basically, the concept of how to write this particular word email, e-mail, or something like that, came in collaboration with those IETF requests in with RFC's workshop groups. This spelling also appears in most of the dictionaries. Now, this spelling of e-mail is being there in most of the dictionaries. Email is a form favored and edited, published in American English and British English writing as reflected as corpus of contemporary English data, but is falling out of favor in some kind of style. So it was already being mentioned in the contemporary English type of data, but the typical writing terminology gained momentum later on in phase. So to add to it, we can say email is a tradition form used in RFCs for author's address and requires for historical reasons. Mail is sometimes to be used for capitalizing E as similar abbreviations of E piano or something like that. So basically, talking about as to how this particular concept of email gained its name, it gains its name by actually there is a concept of email in have some kind of historical reasons, and that concept was already being there in the mind of those Americans and all. Like they have those e pianos, those e guitars, the a bombs and all. In the similar manner, they gave the concept of mailing, or they gave the concept of forwarding a mail an electronic version. If something which is being transferred electronically, it should be email, which is being transferred at large. At internet, email consists of an envelope and content. The content consists of header and body. Now, talking about that, what do we actually have in email? It has a content, it has a header, and it has a body. The origins of email. Now, this is all about the history of email. I know that it is quite a bit lengthy, but it is a must to understand that as to how have the concept of email emerged. From 1965 to then you can just go on with 2018. It is not big enough. So 1965, the first email appeared at MIT in computers uh, program called Mailbox. So the first email came into existence in your MIT form, MIT in form of a computer program in of a mailbox. The program allowed someone to leave a message or computer for next person logging to see. So, however, there is no internet, so the message only went to the people by using the same computer as e-post. So what was there? The first email the first email appeared at MIT. Uh, that is that is an organization who's going to work for the development of those computers and all. So in the form of mailbox. So what was there? It was a kind of a test for the next person who is going to log in onto the computer just by not actually transferring that message onto the email of another computer. It's just being recorded onto the computer itself. The other person who is going to see the computer one more time can see it by opening that particular account. In 1969, the Department of Defense launched ARPANET, Short and Advanced Research Projects agency, which links the computer in organization, allowing the message to be sent on one computer to another. Now, 1969, the Defense Department launched ARPANET. Now, that was an you can say a kind of a linkage between the corporates or the organization with which you are going to actually connect one computer to another computer by sharing the information at large. In 1971, Ray Tomlinson invented electronic mail as we know it today. Now, he was actually the person to give email or the concept of electronic mailing a name that it has its own identity today. And from there, things gradually started working. The first email in the year 1973, a standard developed, included to and from fields. So, to and from fields was being introduced by the year in the year 1973. Before that, to and from was not being there. In the year 1980s, up to this point, email was just inside the government. It was proving to be so useful as the idea has raised being sending email messages to the computer outside the network. This led to the internet. So in 1980s, what actually happened in 1973 to inform was being there, and in 1980s, the concept was being so much so at random, and it became a useful concept for the people that people started using it at large. The first commercial email program, that is Microsoft Mail, was being released by Apple Computers in the year 1988. In 1989, the first commercial ISP, that is the Internet Service Provider, called as World, came into existence. The gap that was being between 1971 to 1989, and Internet being known to everyone, that was ARPANET. Well, National Science Foundation has developed NSFNET, that is National Science Foundation Net. So this has changed the dimension of ARPANET a lot. Tech entrepreneurs objected at by 1991, Internet as we know it today came into existence by say for and while it was slow, but today the standard because of dial-up companies like American Online and all began to sign using millions of them. So the concept of NSFNet was being totally sacked out by those tech entrepreneurs in the year 1991, and they thought of developing something extra or something new as a kind of a dial-up aspects that came into existence, and millions of users got connected by using internet services. In the year 1990s, the Microsoft released Windows, your DOS versions of Microsoft Mail settings at the stage of company's Outlook Exchange. In the year 1992, the ability to attach document was not just the text but made possible the introduction of MIMEs, that is the multi-purpose internet mailing extension protocol also. So in the year 1992, the aspect of not only just attaching the things onto the text and all, but the aspect of multi-purpose working has also been developed. In the year 1993, the word email replaced electronic mail. The system is being organized. Email came into being like an Outlook, Express and all, Hotmail, and free mailing accounts. Two layers of in sorry 1994, two layers of Arizona became the first record in case of business spam, those flooded with unwanted mails. Now, in the year 1994, the concept of those spam, that is being unflooded mails, that was not being there for of no use and all, spam came into existence. As in 2018, over 5 billion active email account exist in the world. So you can imagine the propensity of consumption of email, that by year 2009, 2018, I'm giving you the record of past 2 years, and you can just imagine the magnitude that is being going to in the near future and all. So the concept of email has evolved from the year 1965 to the year 2018 in such a consumption base that everyone is now using email at large for the convenience of sending the mail to the person in such a manner that the information can be used for the development of the people. Importance of email. Now, you have a message that isn't a junk. This is one of the most important cartoon of it. It's not a junk mail and all, because many of us do not try to or do not prefer using those junk mails and all. Let us now have a quick important aspect of email. Now, what is an important importance of email to you? For many of us, it is that of much more importance when we are actually forwarding our CVs and all. For many of us, it is something like that which we are going to incorporate the things. Say you can add something to your resume and resume or something like that. So basically, email holds a lots and lots of importance to each and everyone of us. Email communication is important type of written communication. Today's communication are conducted along business firms, organizations and companies. Most via companies, this is not only the cheapest but also the most reliable mean of communication. See, this is one of the most reliable communication, and at the same time it is very cheap also. You just need a particular net serving thing, make a particular composite of it, and then send a mail. Whereas if you send a mail by using those postal departments, you actually have to travel a lot, consume lots and lots of energy. But in this, the proper mechanism of sending a mail can be done. The orders are placed through emails, the inquiries are placed through emails, the pictures and samples are being imported. Moreover, the email providing an authentic, secure means of communication. It is a very, very secure means of communication. Say, for example, you are transferring a particular image of your uh, anything of your birthday party or anything like that, any ceremony of that, and you want to transfer some of the images to your friend or to your native family. The very first thing nowadays we do is using the WhatsApp. But say, for example, before WhatsApp came into existence, what about that? The concept of email. The email created a kind of being, and email served a purpose that people were sending images by the email content or email parameters a lot, because that was a secure medium to actually send the things. Nowadays, email communication has extended to more than business among than employees, which open the door to many ethical technological complications. It is being used by business and employees in such a manner that many complication has arisen. Technological complications I'm talking about. In some cases, employees tend to spread rumors about the staff, disclosing the information or data on unwanted parties using the offensive languages on communication and all. So basically, importance of everything. See, everything has its own importance, and for everything there is a disadvantage also. So email is an important aspect and has created a useful information transmission from an office head to the person who's working down the company. But the same kind of mail will become a curse when once being used in against the company for spreading the rumors. So this is a kind of importance, which is an importance also, but at the same time, it's a curse for the company itself. Email help the company to contact with employees, partners, clients. Your email is tailored in a proficient and a persuasive yet informative way. It is a composite manner, or it is being tailored made method being used by the people at large. Through email, writing skills have become easy and the employee to make difference between the profession and the unprofessional employee. See, it is a very good mechanism and it is one of the most best mechanism to actually differentiate between who is a professional one and who is an unprofessional one. You can actually segregate between the two kind of people. Good email writing skills will help you to express your intelligence. And I'm going to tell you that there are some 25 tips and all, though they are not much lengthy, they are there just in points. So, those by adopting those things, by actually adopting the good writing techniques, you can create an image of yours by telling that, okay, I have that particular talent within myself. Because at times it happens that most of us are in a habit of writing letter a lot, but the moment we are set to write an email, then it will be a kind of a thing which is going to be a kind of a uh, the basic aspect will not be clear. People who write good emails perceived to be more reliable, trustworthy by the seniors. Let us suppose that you receive an email full of grammatical errors and misspelling. How will you perceive the sender? Now, this is one of the most important thing, that the moment you say that, okay, I have an email, and the boss sees that particular email and there are lots and lots of spelling mistakes and lots of grammatical errors and all, he or she will just have a kind of an opinion that this is not a kind of a professional person who is writing an email to me, and this is not a good thing, and many things will start flooding into his mind, and your entire image will go down. So people who are actually writing good mails have the particular kind of opinion. So importance of email is actually going to make you an important person in an organization. It is good to practice and keep record of each information. Oral information is unreliable, but it cannot be remembered for a very long period of time. Therefore, one needs to be a written records, and emails provide a very best source for that. See, uh, you say for example, you have a product and you buy a product from a particular company, and then you are not happy with that particular product. There is an option for you to give a customer feedback on your email and all. So what do you write an email, a good email to the company expressing your views about about the product and all, and then you call the company's customer care and then say that I have written to a mail of yours, and the particular person says when and where and how you can actually reproduce that particular quantum and can send it directly to the to the person's company or to the person, and can tell that, okay, on this date I have written this kind of email and all. So this is going to serve or provide a kind of a documentation for you as a kind of proof that, okay, I have done something for the benefit of the company, or for the benefit of myself also, and at the same time for the company itself. A person who writes good email can reach an active and more potential customers and investors, and it is of very much use for those people who are into the world of those marketing and who are in the habit of those writing those mails and all, promotional campaigns and all. So see, advertisements, presentations, or you can say, those jingles are of much more use. But when you affix those presentations and documentation in such a manner that those things are being written in a form of mail and being sent to the consumers, you have to keep in mind that it should be of such a type that can be used at large for the various type of the things. So the person who actually is in a habit of writing a good mail can sell the products, can actually make a large number of consumer, and can have a good database. Like, there are advantages and disadvantages also for email writing. Let's actually have a look at the advantages of email. What are the advantages of email? Advantages of email are: email is a free tool. Once you are online, there is no further expense that you need to spend upon it. See, the basic advantage of email is that you need not to spend any of the money on actually making an envelope, posting a stamp, and then sending it onto a letter box. You just have to send, you just have to click that send icon, and just the message will be sent to the particular person in proper period of time. and it will just go in a fraction of seconds, not even seconds also. Email is quick. Once you have finished composing, just send it by clicking a button, and it is sent immediately. It is very quick. See what actually happens in your traditional type of mailing and all. You just make a particular envelope, write onto it, write a letter, paste that thing, put a stamp onto it, then go to your postal departments and all. They will stamp it one more time. Then the letter will be taken to by the postman and all, and the things will be delivered to you. So it will take not only a day, but more than a day or two, and even at times at the option you can just have a month time also. So but for an email, it is a very far extended thing with a quick response of the things at large. It is very simple and very easy to use. It can be used by any person or of any age, of any type, provided you know the aspect of email. Email allows you easy referencing. You can say, on that particular day, on that particular time, I have sent you the mail. Please check it. Email is accessible from everywhere and from anywhere. You can access it on your phones, on your tabs, on your computers, on your laptops, from any device and anywhere. Means you can access it in home, in office, or at your party clubs and all. You can access things everywhere at any time. To add to the particular advantage more, email is a paperless and therefore beneficial for the planet. See, it is very beneficial for the planet, because the thing is that uh, it is beneficial for the planet itself, because paper or cutting of trees and just saying things will be done at large, and email is a paperless activity. Paper will not be used too often for the usage of your email. Email allows the mass sending of the messages. Mass sending of the messages can be done by using your email at large. Email allows for instant access of information and files. You can access the files at large by your email burdens and all. The disadvantages of email: email could potentially cause information overload. See, basically, like I have told you that there are lots and lots of n number of advantages, there are disadvantages also. Disadvantages partly going to include that the information overload will be there. One person is going to send information of a same type, and the same information is going to be sent by the other person also. Then there will be a duplicacy of information, and there will be n number of emails, and at times it becomes very tedious to check which email is first and which email is second. Email lacks personal touch. You can write yours sincerely, you can write yours truly, but it is generally preferably to write yours sincerely only, whether it is a formal or a informal email. uh, it creates a deficit, or you can say the personal touch, the personal flavor of using those languages. Though writing it by hand, uh, it is generally being said, when you write a particular letter by hand, it will create a kind of an emotional bonding between you and the receiver. And the moment you write a typical email, it will not be creating kind of an emotional. It will be an electronic thing. It is an electronic thing, a digital media, and digital thing, digital relationships or digital thing has something something different meaning to the horizons, and the thing in reality has something else. Email can be disruptive. Going through each email can be disruptive to the work. Does not require a bit of time. Does require a bit of time. Disruption is decreased through the utilization of email alert system. See, it is a disruptive one. Anyone who sends me junk email is automatically added to the naughty list. See, uh, this is one of the most interesting aspect is that many of us are in a habit of sending those junk email Junk emails are something which are not to be used or not to be opened because they contain a kind of a viruses elements and all. And they are of a typical type of a gesture aspects. So email can be disruptive. That means it can be tedious, and at the same time, it has a particular relevance that the email requires lots and lots of patience. Like I've told you in my earlier slide also that you will be having n number of mails by n number of people, which is going to be first and which is second. You cannot segregate, and this is a very disruptive feature. And to avoid it, we are going to do the alerting system of email, and we are being quite friendly with that. Email cannot be ignored for a very long time. This is one of the biggest disadvantage. You cannot ignore an email. Where there are certain kind of email which you cannot ignore at all. An email from your boss, an email, a letter from the company. You cannot say that, boss, I haven't seen your letter. Otherwise, you will fired. So basically, there are certain kind of email which you cannot ignore at large. Email can cause misunderstanding. It is one of the most uh, a kind of a way what to say. The I don't have the particular kind of word to just actually associate with it, but you can just imagine that the aspect of misunderstanding in writing a letter will not be creating a too much kind of a discrepancy. But in an email, if you write something which is of not to be written, uh, those words or those communicational aspect will be creating a kind of a misunderstanding. And often it is seen that most of us are in a habit of writing too much. See, the very first thing is that don't write too much in your email because no one has time to read it at large. But creating a misunderstanding, use of one single word and one single element of the word wrongly, it will change the entire meaning of the name. It may contain, and it can contain a virus. You never know how the attachments are going to respond. Sometimes the attachments are being infected by a virus due to the transmission and all. Email should be kept short and brief. Sometimes it is very difficult to intercept at what the particular person is trying to say. It is very too long. Email requires timely responses. And see, if you respond to a particular email after a week or after a day or two or after a month, it can create discrepancies. So the disadvantage is that you are actually going to create a kind of a the timely responses are not being there. Types of emails. Now let us have a quick aspect as to what are the various types of emails and as to what we can do to have those emails at large. There are welcome emails. Your welcome emails is a mail send it to a subscriber within 24 hours after opting your list. Simple email that tells that how happy you are that they have subscribed. You must have seen Times of India. Times of India, the moment you write your particular mail onto their subscribing list and subscribe that thing onto your IDs, they will thank you that we are very honored to have you as a subscriber. So it is a kind of a welcome email. Next, offer email. The email include discounts, coupons, some kind of special deals to the subscriber for thanking you and for being in VIP list. So an offer email is almost like those promotional campaigns to attract the consumer at large, thanking them to be their valuable consumers. The survey email, it is really good email marketing campaign, but isn't a monologue, it's a dialogue. It is basically a dialogue between the company and you can't expect to shower your subscribers with email without ever asking them for an input. See, basically the aspect is that uh, many of us are in a habit of buying too many things at large. But when we buy the things at large, we say that, okay, what is the reason that we are buying this particular thing? aren't being told by the company, or is it a kind of an offer or something like that? No. Survey mails is going to provide you a kind of a sustenance to give you a kind of a dialogue between the company and you, that what could the company do for you at large to make it a better aspect and convert your need into wants and then into desires. So basically survey mails is going to be a kind of a promotional campaign. You can call it as a promotional campaign even, that is going to tell that what extra or what something more should the company add to their particular aspect to make the thing better and simple. The request mails. After you have delivered your promises, you have earned the right to ask for something in return. This email can be used to ask favor, testimonials, reviews on a particular site, since the online testimonials have a high returning emails. Request mails are a kind of mails in which a particular subscriber or a particular person is being asked that, since you are a part and parcel of the company and you are a regular subscriber of this particular project or particular video or something like that, can you please suggest me? It's a request mail, it's a requesting mail, and the content will be the request type of nature. The newsletter email is going to be something like, is going to create a kind of newsletter stories, the stories and the punchline with that. The free gift email. Did you ever know that average office worker receives 121 email per day? Furthermore, open rates marketing email, however, rated about 18%. So if you want your email to be one of the few that is acutely open, you need to give free value now and again. The exclusive free gift email sprinkle in your email marketing campaign will work like a magic for your subscribers. So it is just like your every day, every office consumer is going to office worker will have 121 mails and much more than that. And to open, or it is a kind of an inducement. A free gift email is a kind of a thing that is going to be sprinkled like a marketing campaign, that you are being most invited to as a free gift being associated to the particular mail. That if you open this mail and if you just click onto the particular site, a gift is being attached to it. It can be a coupon, or it can be a kind of a it can be anything. It can be a coupon, it can be a discount, it can be anything. The value email, that doesn't have some direct conversation goal behind every mail. In fact, you want your conversation focused email to be effective. You have to first earn your subscribers' trust. The value email is where you simply provide value to no strings attached. It could be a blog, a dose of inspiration, a simple tip. See, basically, a value email is something like uh, the moment your particular subscriber or your particular person who is actually learning about this particular mail opens this mail, a kind of feeling get associated that, okay, I should open this mail because it contains some value. And value email is something that has, as the name only says, that it has a value and it has a magnitude of its own. So it could be an inspiration, it could be a blog, it could be something like that that has no strings attached to it. You're not going to attach any of the word document or any of the things, you can any pictures or something like that. It is just going to have a kind of a caption word and a kind of a blog post, or anything that is going to attract or associate a value to the particular person. We are hiring email. It's a job mail that is being done to the people at large. New product email, promotional campaigns, and recorder email, especially if you run for the service and sell consumer products. Basically, at times, what happens that the people record their voices and then send it by using an effective mailing systems to actually communicate to the people at large that, okay, this is something which is of use at a regular interval of time. An abundant card email. if you have right site tracking tool in place to be logged, you can tell where to add them in your shopping cart and all. It is basically those type of email where you have been told that okay, something is being there, or you can say something is of your choice and all, and you just have to you have just forgotten that thing. So you must add that particular thing to your cart. Or unlike, say for example, if you miss a particular item from your big basket and all, what actually happens, they just tell you that something you have abundant or something you have left. If you want, you can just add it one more time. So it is an abundant cart email, an email of sort which is going to promote that particular product for you all. An announcement email, it can be an announcement of your job also, it could be an announcement of your simple email like of a particular product. Anniversary email, most of the marketer does for a very longer period of time. At times it happens that your birthdays, your anniversaries, your gifts, your peoples are all being done and are all being made by the company at large. See, this is all a kind of a promotional campaign which is being done by your people just to market the goods in such a manner that the producer, that the consumer should buy it at large. Now there are certain essential elements of your email. What are they? A concise, direct subject line. The subject line should be very, very concise. A proper greeting. A proper greeting means that those, not of those dear sirs and all. Whatever respected information is being there. Uh, Proper grammar and correct spellings. You have to be very, very particular about your spellings and all, because the moment you write a wrong spelling or a wrong grammatical error or grammatically mistakes there in your email, it will create a bad impression. uh, Only essential information, it means that only an essential information is to be given. You cannot write your bits of thing daily, your work activities and all. A clear closing should be there. Clear closing means the ending should be in such a manner that if you need it by Tuesday, so you have to say that the thing has to be done by Tuesday. You cannot say please do it as soon as possible. You cannot use this word. If you use this word, then it will have a kind of a different meaning to it. Now, particularly, these were the essential elements, that is the concise direct subject line, a proper greeting, a proper grammatical correct spellings, only essential information, and clear closing. Now, in my beginning only, I have told you that there are 25 tips of actually creating an email etiquette or email mannerisms. The very first thing, like in a cartoon, when you click reply to all, or your email message goes to everyone in the company. In the last five evils, twin parallel universe, basically, the thing is that at times it happens that many of us are not in a habit of writing too much to our emails, and we create a kind of a fuss around that how to write a thing and how better can we write the things. So there are particularly 25 effective campaignings onto your email etiquettes and all that could be dealt in the near aspects of it. Only discuss public matters. See, often at times it happens that we start discussing our private life onto your emailing and all. Don't ever use those private email stories, and that will end always into some kind of nuances, or into some kind of evil aspect that is going to be of not of use to you in aspect. Briefly introduce yourself. See, if you are writing a particular thing, uh, and you are actually writing it for the very first time, you have to introduce your name in such a manner. Or if you are just writing, this is a particular name of yours, then your designation, then your work culture. So it should not be so much so lengthy that the entire mail is going to is going to have your introduction only. Do not email angry. It is very, very important You cannot use your frustration, you cannot use your foul languages on email. You have to completely avoid it at any cost. Use exclamation points. Use exclamation points spraggly. Exclamation points like question marks and all should be used in accordance. Be careful with the confidential information. You cannot say that my confidential information should be used at large. Respond in a timely fashion. You have to respond in a timely fashion, students. You cannot say that, okay, I'm not able to just respond to you, then I will respond to you in the near future, or I'm going to respond in the later half. You have to respond within the timely fashion. Then refrain from sending one-liners. See, one-liners are something, thanks, oh, okay, or no reply necessary, or you can say as soon as possible. These one-liners will or please find the necessary attachments. Most of the time it is being seen, and this is to be avoided. See, students, this is to be avoided. And why? Because it is a kind of an offended thing. See, and I have personally seen it also. What happened that if you use a particular email, you are writing an email to your dean, or you are writing a particular email to your principal, and then you are using and you want that okay, my principal should be able to know that I'm sending what all things. So you're going to say, okay, then you just wrote, respected sir, please find necessary attachments. So this is a one liner. You have to avoid this thing. You cannot only write, please find the necessary attachments. You have to introduce yourself, you have to write a body, and then go on with it. These are bad manners. You have to avoid these things. Avoid using shortcuts to real words, emotions, jargons, slang, like for you. That is for you instead of for you. You are using for you. Great. You are using for great. You are using gr and 8. So for business, you are using B oblique O. So this is a kind of a thing which is to be avoided at last. Keep it clean. You have to keep it very, very clean. Uh, for example, an email chain include excessive carrots or pages email weren't being predicted by BCC and all. So you have to keep your message very clean. You have to keep your messages the moment your message get messy, you won't be able to actually relate the main content, and you won't be able to send your actual mail to the person. So you have to keep it very, very clean at large. Be clear with the subject line. Your subject line should be very, very clear. Say for example, urgent should be used only in some kind of specific thing when you are actually communicating an urgent mail. don't make don't get mistaken for spam. Avoid subject lines that are all caps, all or lowercase, and those including urls exclamations, which tend to look like a spam to the recipient. See, most of us are in a habit of using spam a lot. Sorry, not a spam a lot. I'm really sorry for that. Most of our us are in a habit of using those writing urgent urgent in capital letters, and urgent requirement of this particular thing. You will write the entire thing in capital letters. You have to avoid this thing, because that thing will look like a spam to the particular recipient, or or the entire thing in your small letters. You have to be very specific in writing your subject line. Our subject line must match the message. See, your subject may it be a letter, may it be an email. You're writing a letter for your leave, and you are writing a subject line, application for a leave, and in that you are communicating, I am not in a position to work in your particular organization. I have been doing this for the last. So this is a kind of a thing which is totally different. You have to be very, very particular about that thing. Provide a warning when sending large attachments. You have to provide warning that it might be a kind of a thing which may create a kind of a bounce, or it may create a kind of an effect. So you have to send a warning to it. no more to attachment with provided logical names. You cannot have the to attachment with those identical names. You have to change the name and then send it. Send or copy other only on need to know basis. You can only copy to those things. Say, for example, before you reply all, put the names of CC and BCC line and ask yourself that if all recipients actually need to do it. See, most of the time it happens is that we are in a habit of sending emails to everyone. And if you send emails to everyone, what will happen? It can be easily seen in your next cartoon. So you have to be very, very particular about that the moment you write those CC and BCC lines, you have to check the names that whether these people are actually need the thing or they need it at a large. Beware to reply of all. You cannot press reply all unless and until that you have to check the names and then reply. Pick up the phone when the topic has lots of parameters that need to be explained or negotiated will generate too many questions and confusion. Do not handle by email. So pick up your phone means when the aspect is of such a matter, when you are not to explain it at large, you have to pick up the phone. Evaluate the importance of your email. Maintain privacy. Then keep it short. Know your audience. See, reply to all will have this particular effect. Next time when you decide to send a Valentine email, don't press send all by mistake. See, this particular or this particular, I don't know who's the boss and who's the employee. They have sent a Valentine email card to everyone. Now this is going to create a havoc in organization, and it is just going to create a bad image of yours. So you have to be very, very particular about sending your emails at to whom you are sending and in what quantum. Only use auto respond when necessary. Train your staff. Your email is a reflection of you. Remember that thing. So let's make a quick recap about what we have done. What is an email we have done? We have done the terminology, we have done the origin, the importance, the advantages, the types, the essential elements, and we have also done the 25 tips of practicing an email etiquette. So, to the best of my ability, I have tried to tell you the aspect of email and the etiquettes of email so that you will be able to judge that okay, these are things which are to be done for making a good email. Remember one thing, students, use email strategically. You cannot use email too often. You have to use email in such a manner that could be used and that could be done so that your persona is going to be reflected by your email. The last point of your point says that your identity is being revealed by your email. So you actually have to write a mail only when it is required. Still, if there are any points with you which you have not understood, or any matter which you are not in a position to understand, you can come to me, to my cubicle, write a mail to me, write a good mail to me, and remember that every response will have a mail provided you write it in a proper manner. Until my next lecture, thank you.